Okay, my friends, here it is. The Monday morning live stream at the Thrive Like a Viking headquarters, which is also the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. Okay, sound check. It's gonna be a wonderful day. Okay, what did I say in the sound check? We just gotta make sure. I know you guys think I go overboard on the sound checks, but as the content creator, it's important to me that the sound quality is high. Video quality can be iffy and all that, but sound's gotta be clear. All right. Hello, John. Good to see you, my friend from Colombia. Ginny Grubb, good to see you. Yes, Ginny, I received the, I think it was you, right? Yes. I received the payment and donation for the walking onions. So I've got you down. Don't worry. Thank you. And let us see, Aaron Johnson. Hello, my friend. Creative Soil. Many blessings from Oklahoma. Val, of course, she is here. She's foundational member. Good morning, Nate and Tribe. Happy Monday from cloudy northern Arizona. For the first time in several months, the sun is now here. So that's pretty cool. Graham, good to see you, my friend in Ireland. Brian Airy says, good morning, Nate and Tribe. Much blessings and peace. Yes. Hello, Pam from South Africa says hello and good afternoon to all. Much love. Yes. John says, it's always a wonderful day. Yes. Jerry says, fuzzy sound. What does that mean? Okay, we got to do one more because I'm not seeing it from you guys. Okay. Apples to apples. What did I say in the sound check? All right. Because we're going live, guys. Yeah, live's a whole different experience than like different kind of podcasts and stuff like that. You have to know exactly. Okay, good. Got it. So Val says apples to apple. Okay, thank you guys. So now I know that the sound is working. And we're going to turn it like this, and we're going to be good, right? Okay, so guys, we were going to do the book reading again today, but I received an email from a friend, and they really want, they asked a question, a friend from Bulgaria, okay? So sweeping page 187 says, you said, beware the lizard overlords. Incorrect, but that's funny. Yes, Donald Hughes, hello, my friend. Thank you for watching the Travel Like a Viking channel and leaving comments on all those videos. I appreciate that. Helps that channel to grow. So we're gonna do a little meditation, guys. I know that you're feeling the Monday morning meditation. We'll do a little guided meditation, and then we are going to address this question that I received from a friend in Bulgaria. And I think it's very relevant to what everything is happening right now, where everyone is going through. And I'm going to utilize, when I got this question, I thought, hey, this is a great topic. So I then got online and just looked up a few quotes from, classic spiritual teachers, so that you can hear their perspective on certain things as well. So we will go through that, and then I will give my perspective on that, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of that as well. So, but first things first. Hello, Camille. Good to see you here, my friend. First things first, guys. Let us drop into the meditative state of mind. We do that by taking a few conscious, deep breaths together, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. One last time, breathing fully in. Hold. And let it go. Now sit in a relaxed position with the spine straight and completely allow this moment to be exactly as it wants to be. Make no effort in any way. Just allow the moment to happen. Allow the body to breathe in whatever way it knows is best. You don't have to breathe in any particular way. Breathing in, breathing out, you relax the face and the shoulders, the arms and the hands. Deeply relax the body. Now likewise you relax the mind. There is no need to think of anything in particular. Just ride the wave of your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Focus your attention on the sensation of air as it flows into the body and out of the body. The area around the nostrils, there's a subtle sensation of air as it flows past, in and out. Focus only on that. As you breathe in and out, there may be thoughts or images that come into the mind. This is normal, this is natural. When you realize you have begun thinking again, notice the quality of the thought and briefly label it and then let it go. If you notice that you are rehearsing a drama from yesterday or 10 years ago, notice the quality and say, remembering mind, and then let it go and come back to the breathing. Or if you notice the mind just can't sit still, it can't even go one or two thoughts before it takes control of you again, then notice that and say, restless mind, and then let it go and come back to the breathing. If the mind is chattering to you, just notice that. Allow it to happen. Label it chattering mind, planning mind, fantasizing mind. Whatever the quality of the experience is, you just label it briefly, then let it go. Breathing in, breathing out, allowing every moment, every experience in this moment to be without trying or wanting to change anything. Notice the sensations in the body. If there is sound in the environment, notice if you are allowing the sound to frustrate you. Just notice that. Briefly label it frustrated mind, unequanimous mind, and then let it go. And come back to the breathing. Always the breathing is there for you, the dearest friend you will ever have, from the moment of birth to the moment of death. There is a continual exchange with the atmosphere that sustains you. In and out. The breath is the perfect example of the way energy flows. A non-stop rhythm in your life. No matter how hard you try to hold on to the breath, you must eventually let it go. It is the same with all things. Many of you that have been practicing for some time now, the neurological muscle that is willpower and concentration and spiritual fortitude has become stronger and stronger. And you will now notice a sense of serenity. Your mind has become still and quiet, like a clear mountain lake early in the morning. When the mind is still and quiet, your natural, true nature arises. And that is of joy and of peace and of harmony, of satisfaction and contentment. These are your birthright. Just allow. Together, let us take a few deep conscious breaths. Breathing fully in, fill the lungs. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one, fill the lungs. Hold. Let it go. As you come out of the meditation, notice how you can keep a portion of your attention anchored in the now, in the body, with the breath, with all aspects of the present moment. When you open your eyes, you don't have to allow all of the attention to then be focused outwards. The power of your mind is increasing. The power of your presence is increasing. So more and more, the benefit, the effect of this will show itself in your life. One gauge that you can tell if you are making progress, if we want to call it this, is, one, how you treat other people. Do other people frustrate you easily? Are you easily frustrated by other people? Do you think that people are out to get you? Do you think that other people do you wrong? Do you have that narrative in your mind? As you deepen the practice, you will see all of that is a delusion. Mel's Variety, good to see you here. Yes. Yes, John Saldana says, I really dislike those ads on YouTube right when I was in the thick of my meditation. Yes, I get it. I totally get it, guys. YouTube has changed their policies, and it's now very difficult. You have less and less control over that. So if I turn that off and don't monetize the channel, then they still put the ads on there anyways, and they keep everything. So, but as Creative Soil said, we use that as a meditation. We use that as part of the meditation. Notice in the mind, and if there's a level of frustration, notice that, the irritation in the mind, notice that. Okay, say irritated mind, perturbed mind, disturbed mind, and then let it go and come back to the breathing. And observe and observe and observe. This is crucial. In many ways, an advertising disrupting the meditation is very beneficial. Yes. So, and hello, Vera Witch Lady says hello from gray and windy Belgium. Yes. DNT says, hey, Viking crew. Yes. Guys, I want to show you something really lovely that I got. And I know I showed this already on the Saturday channel, but this is so lovely. I wanted to say this. This young girl took the time to draw this for me. Look at this picture. And the carrots, and that's me. And this is a thriving tree, and it's a beautiful day out with the sun and the green grass and the raised garden beds with the signs on them and the flowers. These look like they're probably the coxcomb flower. Yeah, my favorite one that I have out front. And she wrote me a note. She said, I would like to meet you. I am 8 years old. My name is Tegan. I love watching your videos. I would like to hang out. Look on the back. She says, I love you. And I love you too, darling. Thank you. It says Nate and Tegan. She says, and then she gives her address. So thank you very much for this thoughtful gift, my friend. You obviously are a bright light. So I just wanted to say thank you. And when the situation presents itself, we will make that happen. We will meet. Your mother obviously has a very good head on her shoulders. So thank you. And yeah, guy, I know everyone's like, oh, that's adorable. Yeah, I know. I mean, when you get something like this from the young generation like that, from the young people, you know it's real. It's pure. You know, she was inspired to do that. And so that's wonderful. And especially with the young kids, the light hasn't been conditioned out of them from society, you know, and so they can really have a lot of light in them. So, yes. Let's see what you guys are saying. Sweeping Page says, I don't often get a chance to watch live. I usually watch the VODs after while driving, so I can only do so much with the meditation. I got a chance to sit in a parking lot this time. All right. Yes, definitely. Now, you can do them after the fact, no problem, but there is a certain power when we are all doing them together. We've got, I mean, think of it like neurons in a brain. Different neural connections. I mean, Vera is in Belgium, you know, Pam is in South Africa, there's people, you know, Graham is in Ireland, so all over the globe. And yet we're here now with this amazing, unbelievable technology that we have. Unbelievable technology that we can all be here right now. Regardless of what time the clock says that it is, it's just now. It doesn't matter. So, So Bushcraft Baron says, hello, my friends from Sunridge, Ontario. Nate, just finished watching your addiction video as a warm-up for today. We'll have to leave at 11:15, but we'll finish the video when I get back. All right, my friend. Yes, the addiction video. Yes, very powerful. Very important. Yeah. Definitely. So guys, I got a email from a friend in Bulgaria. Okay. Camelia. And it is a woman. And so I'm just going to read this, okay? And tell me if you can relate, tell me your thoughts, and then I'm going to share my thoughts and utilizing some quotes from spiritual teachers, because it's always good. You guys hear a lot of stuff from me, but maybe hearing it from other people can hit differently as well. So it says, hey, Nate, I know you're busy, but anyways, I will try to get a question to you. I am not sure if I can post this topic on the, blah, blah, blah. And I know it's not possible to talk about this on YouTube or another platform, but I need to ask you something. I know, anybody knows what's coming in the near future about the World Economic Forum plans, the Great Reset, the New World Order, etc. And she says, in Bulgaria, I see so much people are awakened now and realize the reality is not what we have been, and they realize this reality is not what we have been created for. We feel it with our hearts and souls. The thing is, I still don't understand how a person can resist this. I mean, people say we should gather and then we are more powerful than them, but we only say this, write this, and nothing as an action. Remember, this person's first language is not English, so we only say this, write this, and do nothing in action. I write you because I follow you almost from the beginning of the channel, and I resonate with your thoughts. So my question is, do you have any idea what the actions of the people should be? Here in Bulgaria, they start to create small communities, but is that enough? These communities will try to live as much far from the matrix as they can, but each one for itself. These questions are every day in my head, and I have no answer. What do you think to do, Nate? As a just one person, but a person created with all the power and spark of God? ? Thank you so much for all your efforts and positivity. Listen to that last sentence, guys. They want to know, what do you think to do? As I am just one person, as we are just one person, but a person created with all the power and spark of God. This is the essence of all of this. Realize this deeply and everything becomes clear. So, what are your thoughts, guys, on this? What is one to do? What is one to do? Val says, wow, I struggle with the same thoughts. I know a lot of people do, and that's why we're going to address some of this today, because this is heavy on people's mind. And so the person is saying that, okay, the more and more people are becoming awakened to the reality, the actual reality of what's happening, how society is sort of being guided, corralled, herded into certain behaviors. We feel it all over the place because, guys, there is behavioral engineers. There are behavioral engineers, police in many ways, Hogue, $50. Thank you very much, my friend. That's going to get us over the $100 for the month on this channel. Thank you. Good morning, Nate. You should consider an annual meet and greet. Start in the Midwest and eventually we'll all fly out to LA together. This is how we network. I like that idea. When the school gets built, that's going to be the meeting place. People will be coming all over the place. I already see it. People will be coming from all over. Every one of you guys should come to the school. Definitely. There will be all kinds of, there will be a dorm room, dorm type room and everything. So yes, thank you very much, Hogue. So back to what we were doing. Thanks again. And so Brian says, prepare like-minded individuals. Yes. VA Green says, Nate is only one person. Look at what he's done by just setting an example and telling his story. Yes. Thank you very much. That's great. That's part of it. But people are becoming more and more aware that they are being manipulated. They're becoming aware that we've got to a point with technology and that our perceptions have become skewed. Okay? So you have to remember this, guys. Listen carefully, all right? Truth is not what dictates human behavior. Human behavior is not dictated by the truth. It is dictated by the perception of the truth. Now, I will use this example again. There is a tribe in the South Pacifics that fully believes that if they steal food from one another, a giant iridescent sea turtle will strike them dead. And so therefore, they never steal food from each other. They never steal anything from each other. So in this case, does the truth matter in determining their behavior? No. The truth is that there is no giant iridescent sea turtle, of course, that will strike them down. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is their perception of the truth. They believe that that is true, and that dictates their behavior. You have to understand this. This is foundational. You have to understand the way the human mind works and how the human organism works, meaning the hive mind works as well. Human behavior is dictated by the perception of the truth. And where does perception come from? The perception comes from the information that one receives. Perception comes from information received because that's your data points. That's how you will make the decisions. Information received, and we're talking, well, we'll get to it later. There's a much deeper level, but we're talking mostly from the mind, what 99.99% of people live by. And so we have to understand that human behavior is dictated by the perception of the truth, and the perception of the truth comes from the information that they receive. Now, in our modern society, where does information come from? It is all over the place. Think of how much we are bombarded with information in this age. We are bombarded with it. Back in the day, guys, just a couple hundred years ago, and for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, humankind never evolved to deal with this level of information input. We would spend our whole lives around 20, 30, 50 people, maybe 100 at most. And we would spend our whole lives within a 20-mile radius, if that. And we met a few dozen people and this kind of thing. And everything that we knew, our whole perception of the world was local. And anything that we saw, listen to this, anything that we saw was actually happening. And so we never developed the protective mechanisms to see things that aren't real, like the television, like the movies, like the screens. So the human mind, we are still those people. Biologically speaking, we are still those 200,000 years ago people, virtually unchanged. And so just up until the last 50 years, 100 years, really the last 10 years has been unbelievable. We're now in the digital age. That's just all of human history will go back 5 miles, and then the last quarter inch is the last 50 years, okay? Or the last 10 years, really. So we never evolved the protective mechanisms to distinguish between what is actually happening and what we're seeing happening. Yes, back in the day, if we saw a tiger rip somebody apart, we would say, oh, wow, that would make a big impact in us. And we would, then that would dictate our behavior. We would avoid, okay? But now, when we see things on television and in the media and stuff, the mechanism of the mind, if you study this, the mechanism of the mind cannot distinguish the difference. And so that deeply impacts our behavior, deeply impacts our behavior. Let's see what some of you guys are talking about. So, yes, John Saldana, he's feeling it. Yes. VA Green says, too much information. Information overload. Yes. Jody K, I totally relate to this. I see all the crazy stuff happening, and unfortunately, it often just leaves me with the feeling of hopelessness. I get that. I totally get that, guys. We're gonna address that here in a bit. And so Vera says, I strongly believe that everyone who sees it distributes to the new energy and thus changing society. Definitely, yes, it's very important. Definitely. More and more people see through that manipulation. So Val says, so if we tried to change someone's truth, it would only frustrate both. Yes, we will get to this definitely in a moment for sure. Hogue says, Jody K, most people don't recognize all the crazy. You woke up and there's never been more hope for you than now. That's right. Now. That's right. Bushcraft Baron says, I agree that more people are becoming aware. Us in the West are starting to get back to connecting as human beings on a personal, one-on-one level and are beginning to reject the way things are heading. Yes, this is true. We see this happening all the time. We see this all the time. However, back to the question from my friend in Bulgaria. Says, okay, we get this and we see, okay, it's happening. People are waking up and stuff, but nothing's really changing. How is it going to happen? Is this going to be enough? How is any of this going to work out? You know, so what is the course of action that we have to take? And I will say that the only course of action that there is to take is to awaken from the dream of perceptions. You have to purify your perceptions. You have to awaken from the dream. There is nothing more important. There is nothing that can be done unless the individual awakens. Now, if we're still coming at this from the thinking mind, we're going to think, well, that sounds selfish. I'm just going to worry about myself. No, that's not what we're talking about. The way the human organism works is the way all natural organisms work. In nature, if we look to nature, we can see, like when you're driving down a road, okay? When you're driving down a road and there's a rabbit on the road. Now, the rabbit is, boom, it sees you and it takes off because in its mind, you're thinking about it. You know, you're coming after it for sure. So it is focused on itself, okay? On its self-preservation. It's focused on itself. So you're just driving down the road and it's running for its life. It's thinking that you're coming to get it, okay? Even though you're not at all. I mean, you're just driving. And so it's programmed into nature that if the individual organism takes care of itself, then the collective will automatically take care of itself. If each one of those rabbits has that instinct, then the collective, all of the rabbits will survive, will thrive. You see what I'm saying? That's an analogy, but in the same way, we are such that if the individual awakens, meaning awakens from the dream that they are an individual, then you will awaken, I will awaken, she will awaken, you, and we don't have to worry about the whole. We don't have to even think about how am I going to awaken everybody? How is everybody going to change? We don't think about that. You can't change everybody. You can't. That's a never-ending rabbit hole. That is. It will go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and it does not. It will only frustrate the people. Because anytime we have become totally possessed by the mind, by the ego mind, the thinking mind, the analytical mind, the mind that is planning. But this mind is only a tiny fraction of the reality of what we are. And there was a time in the distant past when humans were guided by the heart energy, not the mind energy. We've become totally dominated by mind in this culture now. In this society, worldwide now. But it wasn't always that way, and it's not going to be that way in the future. There's going to be the ones that have to awaken. When I mean individual awaken, what does that even mean? Does that mean we have to see and research what the World Economic Forum is trying to do to us, and then we have to resist that? No, it actually has nothing to do with that. Do we have to learn about the Club of Rome and the Council of 12 and the Lemurian Council? Do we have to learn about all of them and then we have to try and come up with a way that we can resist all of that? No, we don't. Not at all. It actually has nothing to do with that. Instead, we individually awaken and realize our true nature, which is to say we step out of identification with the mind and we live from the heart energy, because there exists within us a totally different realm of experience. And the mind is thinking and chattering, and it's the commentator in the head, all right? And so long as we are guided by that, we will never know true success. The heart energy, what I'm calling the heart energy, what Eckhart Tolle calls presence, what some teachers would call the Holy Spirit, or would call, there's so many different names for it. I'm calling it heart energy, all right? The heart energy doesn't have to think. It knows. The mind thinks, but the heart knows. It just knows. Think about how you know, try to explain to me how you know that you love someone, that you deeply love someone. You're like, well, it makes sense for it. See, the mind can't comprehend love. The thinking mind can't comprehend true, deep love. It could say, oh, well, our living situation is advantageous, and blah, 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 all these things. The heart just knows. You don't have to explain why. You just do. You just know. This is the heart energy, and it can bleed over. It can influence. It can become your entire way of living. And only once that happens will all the answers become clear. All the answers about how to act, how to organize, how are we going to resist, all that. We don't do any of that. Instead, we open up the channel and start living from the heart. And then everything becomes clear, because infinite spirit goes before me and opens the way. And infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. This is literally true. And so I'm gonna pull up a couple of these quotes, guys. Okay. So Jamie Copeland says, doesn't gathering information enough to resist give the power to them? Yes, definitely. So that's another thing of the mind, the law of confirmation. So the internal, this is why it's so important that we take control of our mind, because the internal experience will become, in some way, will be confirmed by the external experience. So if you watch some of my previous videos, I made like a shorter 8-minute video about there's a war for your mind. Why is there a war for your mind? Because they know that if they can stencil in the appropriate image in your mind, then that you will be helping bring that about. So if we're afraid that, oh no, the World Economic Forum, we're going to own nothing, and they're going to make us eat bugs, and they're going to, we're going to have electric cars, and they're going to shut it off and everything, and we're going to have to register our gardens and all of that. If we think all of that, if we keep thinking all of that, we are unwillingly bringing that about. That's how this realm works. It first has to be visualized, and then the energies create it. So we have to recognize that, yes, all of that stuff, make us eat bugs and all that stuff, that's their plan, but that doesn't matter, because that's not my plan. That's not what we're going to do. We're not doing that. We're not registering our garden. We're not doing none of that. We're going to let the heart energy guide us, and I will never again have to think about what is the right course of action, what is the right thing to say, what is the right, because it is not me doing it. When you open up, another way to say it using conventional terms, although this is very loaded already, these terms, but you could use it. You could say, I have completely given my life to God, and it is Him that guides my actions. It is Him that speaks through me. And so therefore, I do not have to worry, because it is not me doing any of this. You understand? So, guys, I'm glad you're feeling it. Yes, our focus creates the reality. Now, if that doesn't resonate completely with you yet, then you need to view it on an individual level. Okay, so you need to view it on an individual level. You have to look within, and you have to see, okay, what is my focus is on life? And the only way that you can do this is by becoming aware. And the only way to do that is to practice the presence. You have to become aware of what is happening in the mind. And so you will observe. What image are you holding in the mind? Are you holding the image of of health and wellness and vitality and strength and spiritual and emotional resilience and fortitude? Are you holding that as your guiding image? Probably not, if that's not what you're experiencing. Most people, because they're unaware of the workings of their mind, are holding the image of struggle. The life is a struggle. I never have enough money. I never can get what I want. I can never get ahead. And that's the image that they have of their life. And that is what they will experience. You have to become very aware of what is happening in this decoding device. Go back and watch the one where I was talking about you're not the you think you are, where I explained the cosmic Wi-Fi analogy. This is very important to understand this. So I'm going to pull up a couple of these quotes for you guys, just because, yes, Deportees Destiny, we are live right now. Okay, so, Lao Tzu, right? Lao Tzu, the ancient spiritual philosopher, yes? Like all the ancient spiritual philosophers, they're not really even sure if it was an actual person or if it was like a group of people that this is all attributed to. So, but Lao Tzu is credited with saying, if you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. Yes, yes, this is exactly what we are saying here. The greatest gift you have to give to humanity is your own self-transformation. If you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. This is how it works. Because ultimately, you are not a separate entity, separate from other entities. There's only one. There's only ever been one. There can only ever be one. Nothing can be outside of the one. And so, yes, Ben Hudson says, how can we stop wars when we first must tame the war within? Thank you. Yes. Yes. Graham says, you need to be the change you want to see. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is literally true. You are changing the whole vibrational frequency of the realm when you do this. So let me pull up a couple of more of these quotes here. So do you guys know who, well, maybe some of you will know Nisargadatta. Okay, he's an ancient, or not ancient, but he's from like the 40s, spiritual teacher in India, Nisargadatta. And he says, do not worry. It is a waste of intellect and energy. Spontaneously, everything is happening in God, through God, and by God. This is the absolute truth, my friends. And this is what we talk about all the time. When you give your life to God, for how we're using that term here is not in the classical term, but when you give yourself to the infinite spirit, to the infinite one, then everything happens spontaneously because you are out of the way. You are out of the way. And so the heart energy is guiding everything that you need, all the right course of action. You can listen to it. But you have to practice this at first because we have become so conditioned to living from the thought process, which is just a tiny little fraction of what is actually there. So let's see here. Rosa Aria says, beautiful words. Thank you, Jennifer Baldassari. Yes. Pam says, starts within. Absolutely. Teresa Durie, profound. Yes. Yes, let's see. And John says, Nate, what I needed to hear today. Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, once you get the spirit within you, then you will be guided to the right. The universe is always conspiring to put you in that situation which is most conducive to your awakening. That doesn't mean that you're going to experience happiness all the time, not by a long shot. That means that once you open up to the heart energy, you will be put in situations constantly that are the most conducive situation possible to your awakening, because that is what the universe is wanting, right? You can feel it. This is what this person in Bulgaria, this is what they're feeling. This is what all these people are feeling, that the universe wants to awaken the energies, the earth, The Mother Earth energy wants to heal and awaken. It wants to sustain. It wants to say, hey, stop looking out towards the stars and towards the other planets. Right here, focus on what we already got right here. Focus on this realm, on this world. We already have a paradise. Stop destroying it. All these things. So many of you guys might know Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was a foundational influence in Eckhart Tolle's life and in his philosophies. So if you don't know about Krishnamurti, you can look him up. Although he was around in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and a little bit later. But even the culture has changed so much since then. That each spiritual teacher of the ages uses different analogies. They use different language. They present it in a different way because you have to know the audience. You have to know what they can relate to. You understand? Serene Dakota, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate this. Appreciate the contribution to the tribe. Deportee says, why am I able to fast forward the live? Seems crazy. Nate, please confirm you're seeing this right now, my friend. I'm seeing it, but you need to click live so that you catch up with the live. You need to catch up with the live. So Krishnamurti says, now listen, this is he was like the most profound spiritual teacher of his time in the world. And so he says, the only hope for humanity is in the transformation of the individual. The only hope for, listen how there's no clearer terms you can put it in. That's not a big roundabout explanation. The only hope for humanity is in the transformation of the individual. So that's the answer, my friends. You don't have to worry about how am I going to change everybody else? How am I going to change the world? How can just one person, you feel so small when you think, how can I make any difference on anything? Because I'm just one tiny little person. But that's not true at all. That's the thinking mind, the ego mind that is telling you that. You are actually inconceivably powerful. It almost brings tears to my eyes to even start touching that magnet. Thank you, Val. $10. Thank you very much. Says, thank you, Nate. Needed to hear all of this. Yes, definitely. You're in the right place, my friend. So if you can understand how unfathomably powerful you are, then it's game over for all of these people. For all of this World Economic Forum, the Club of Rome, and the Illuminati, and all that stuff. The one infinite spirit laughs at that because even that is still a part of the one. It's still a manifestation of the one. They are not separate from the one. They are not separate from the totality of all of creation. They are still part of it. They are still part of you. They are still another aspect of the infinite mind of God. And so we don't become angry with them. We don't become upset with them, that they're trying to do this, the Klaus Schwab and all of that kind of stuff. All that stuff is smoke and mirrors, guys. All that stuff is smoke and mirrors. Don't buy into it. Don't get hung up on it. Smoke and mirrors, not because they're saying all this, but they're doing something else. Oh, no. No, because smoke and mirrors, because they are just trying to pull you into identifying with the tiny little box that they have designed for you. You are a human being, one of billions on a planet, and we are the ones in control of things. We're going to force you to eat bugs and not own anything, and then blah, 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 all the other narrative and stuff. That's the smoke and mirrors, to try and get you afraid so that you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? How are we going to overcome this? How is any of this going to happen? I'll tell you how you're going to overcome it. Just awaken. You just stop and you say, well, guess what? We're not going to do any of that. That's not how it's going to go. We are going to we're going to do the practices, and we're going to awaken, and we're going to allow the heart energy to guide our life. And I'm not going to have to worry anymore about anything that the World Economic Forum is doing, because I know that the light will prevail, because that's all there is the light. So, sweeping page 184, $10. Thank you guys, man. Being great today. This is good. Definitely going to put us over the $100 mark for the month. So, very much so appreciate the contributions, guys. So, let's see. A couple of more, okay? A couple of more quotes. So here is one from Ram Dass. You guys know Baba Ram Dass? Yes? I mean, he was a Western guy, American, and in the 70s. The older cats will know about Baba Ram Dass. So he says, awakening is the understanding that there is no separate self, only the interconnected web of life. That's exactly what we're saying here. Awakening is the understanding, I would say the realization, meaning that it becomes a reality for you. So awakening is the realization that there is no separate self. There is no you. There is only the interconnected web of life. Yes, absolute freedom. The energy flows through you. It's not bound up in a false, fictitious, delusional sense of self, of being a me in a world of other me's that is totally separate. And God is out here somewhere. God is off in the clouds, and I can maybe have a relationship with God, but I could never be God. That's blasphemous. No, you are God. You understand what I mean when I say that? I don't mean the thinking mind, you as your little person. Not at all. That whole thing's an illusion. The breath that animates your experience is the breath of God. So Kathy Title, $25. Thank you. Says, I'm feeling it. Thank you, Nate. Absolutely, guys. I'm really glad that you're here. This is, once we start talking like this, it's the energy just starts flowing, and it's wonderful. So Ben Hudson says, Nate, Krishnamurti also said, no practice, no ritual, no guru, no authority, no mind, just pure observation without intent to classify. Absolutely. And this is true. This is completely true. But the thing is, in the beginning, and I'm talking to you guys, in the beginning, is this true for you? Probably not. In the beginning, it is very helpful to have a practice, to have not a guru, but to have guidance. In the beginning, it is very helpful to have things like this, observation without intent to classify. Yes, ultimately, what he's describing there is the state of awakened consciousness, where there is no teaching. There is only everything that is. There's no teaching. There's just the reality. But until that shift happens, I know, because I spent years chasing that spiritual, thinking that enlightenment was just around the corner. I mean, really intensely. At the end of it, when I came back and I was like teaching Buddhists at the temple and everything, and going to universities and talking with the kids and all that. And I mean, I was meditating constantly, and I was like feeling like, okay, enlightenment is just around the corner, until the shift, until all of a sudden, everything just became clear that who is going to become enlightened? There is no one here. There is no one here. There is nothing. There is nothing. There is no entity here. There's no such thing as enlightenment. Who's going to become enlightened? And everything just dissolved. The sense of self totally dissolved. And I was left speechless, in a state of just, wait. You mean to tell me this whole time I've been dreaming that I was real, that there was a person that is separate in a separate world, instead of just seeing the one interconnected web of all of life? You mean to tell me I spent 33 years under that delusion? It took my breath away for a long time. So, yes. Yes, Kenny Green, self-inquiry. Guys, if you don't know self-inquiry, then look into it, okay? This is a very beneficial practice. But yeah, only once the shift happens, then you say, okay, obviously there is no practice, and because nothing that you can do can possibly prepare you for actual awakening. And it's not dependent on anything. Okay, well, you have to say these 7 rituals 7 times a day, and then in 7 years, you will become awakened. The mind, ego mind, loves that kind of stuff, numbers and schedules and techniques and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, none of it is necessary. But in the beginning, and this is me saying this, that it's very helpful. So, again, Krishnamurti says from his book, Flame of Attention, all right, on page 52, says, we are not separate. Our brains are so conditioned through education, through religion, that we think we are separate entities with separate souls and so on. We are not individuals at all. That is what he says. We are not individuals at all. DNT, $5. Look at you guys today, man. This is great. Thank you so much. Appreciate this. So Ben says, also can be a dark place when one delves into one's subconscious. My journey is pain and suffer. Only way to really learn. Oh yeah, guys. I went through a deep, dark night of the soul for like 6 months. Dark night of the soul, man. When I came back here, I was in a bad state. I was just staying in hotels. It was horrible. It was horrible. So, a dark night of the soul, guys. But there was just the conviction. There was the knowing. It was the heart had already shined through. I didn't understand what it was and none of that. But I just knew that light was on the way. So let's see here. So here's the guy. Let's see what the name is. Vernon Howard. Okay, he wrote some spiritual books back in the day. He says the only way to do something truly important every day is to seek to understand yourself every day. Are we getting a theme here? The only way to do something truly important every day is to seek to understand yourself every day. That's another way to say to awaken every day. Eckhart Tolle says, you are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. You are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. Ben Hudson says, I'm in Singapore going to Mumbai in a few hours. All right. Individual awakening. Yes, that is the theme. This is the theme. Yes, Teresa says, regardless of what term you assign to it, God is all infinite energy. Yes, we have to see this. The human mind is a marvel of dualistic thinking. Yes, of dualistic thinking. It's dualistic thinking and only thinking that appears to split up the one. But the one is never split. It is always the totality of all that is. But the human mind, through thinking, gives this illusion. But it is an illusion, a delusion. So, okay, one more quote from Krishnamurti, okay? So, because I don't typically do quotes from other people because it's just not necessary, but I mean, once the truth is the truth. I mean, so once you see it, it doesn't really matter. But Krishnamurti says, to transform the world, we must begin with ourselves. And what is important in beginning with ourselves is the intention. The intention must be to understand ourselves and not to leave it to others to transform themselves or to bring about a modified change through revolution, either of the left or of the right. It is important to understand that this is our responsibility, yours and mine. You see, he is saying this. And there was a lot of revolutions going on at this time in India when he was saying these things. The intention must be to understand ourselves and not to leave it to others to transform themselves or to bring about some kind of revolution. So to answer the question, we don't have to worry about that. That will take care of itself when you awaken. Let's see here. Teresa says, why were you do is so important is because once you learn the truth, it cannot be unlearned. Oh, absolutely, guys. Once you learn, once you see it, that's it. It changes everything. And then your entire perspective is never the same. It's the sense. It's the sense of being a localized individual. You know what I'm saying? It's not the thought that, oh, I'm an entity, because in the world, in the practical world, everything is still happening though. I still make appointments. I still have social media stuff. I still, all of that is still happening. I still talk, hi, this is Nate. I would like to speak with blah, blah, blah. I don't say, hi, this is the one infinite consciousness that would like to speak with himself. You can't talk like that. I mean, even though ultimately that's the truth, you can see the layers. You can see the layers. And so, yes. Oh, definitely rewatch this one, Pam. Definitely. So you can see the layers in things, and you don't get drawn into it. And once it is seen, it is the sense of being a localized. You know what I mean by localized? By the sense that I am here in like a space and time kind of thing. This might sound crazy to some of you, but ultimately space and time are also illusions. They are only present in your awareness. And quantum physics can explain this on a scientific level to a degree, but the ancients have been saying this and knowing this for thousands of years anyways, that time and space are ultimately the illusion as well. And so the sense of being a localized person evaporates, and you're just flowing. You're just flowing in a state of serenity. Okay, yes. Teresa says, sorry, why what you do, Nate, is so important because once you learn the truth, it cannot be unlearned. Yes, it cannot be unlearned, right? Because you see through it. It's like those, those optical illusion pictures where it's like, okay, see the dog looking at the lady or whatever, and you're like, well, I just don't see it. I don't see it. And you keep, I don't see it. I don't see it. But then something happens, and all of a sudden you see it with crystal clarity. And then you can't unsee it. You know what I'm talking about? Those pictures? It's the same way with the ultimate reality, except infinitely deeper, of course. So, yes, listen to Brian says, I would be no happier to be on the field of battle with all of you great warriors. I have grown to love this tribe. Definitely, my friend. We're happy that you're here. We are happy that you are here. Ms. T says, don't exist. That's right. We don't exist. Because what is the root word of exist? Existere, to stand out from. And how can you stand out from the substratum by which the experience is happening? How can you stand out from? How can a wave stand out from the ocean? They can appear to be a separate wave. All the waves appear to be separate, but they're never separate. They are the one water of the ocean. And this is exactly how it is with us. Jennifer Baldassari says, one thing that confuses me is that there seems to be some sort of time occurring as I look in the mirror and see this body change with age. What is that? Not time. It is not time. It is actually the mind. All time is mind created. And the mind classifies, or the mind quantifies change as time. Everything is in a state of flow. Everything is in a state of non-stop flow, of change. Only, now this might get a bit deep for some of you, it is in a state of non-stop change only from the point of an observer. Because if there is no observer, if there is no witnessing presence, it cannot observe the change. So ultimately, there is nothing happening. Ultimately, there is no movement. Ultimately, there is no dimension. There is only the infinite mind of God. Profound bliss. So it seems like that for a while, yes, but keep digesting that. The mind will see the difference between psychological time and change. It's very different. But even change is an illusion because it depends upon there being an observer. So, okay, guys, we are approaching the end. We like to keep these ones to about an hour, okay? So, okay, and one more thing. Jennifer Baldassari said, okay, one thing confuses me. One thing confuses me is that there seems to be some sort of time occurring as I look in the mirror and see this body change with age. What is that? Not time? No, because think of it. Think if you had a magical mirror and you just looked in the mirror and you never had to look away. And 50 years go by in the mirror. All the things around you are going to change and the seasons will come and go. The body's going to get older. The body's going to, sag down with time, and all of that's going to change. But is it still you looking the entire time? Have you changed? No, you haven't changed at all. And what are we calling you? Awareness. Your awareness. Your awareness has not changed the whole time. While everything else would have changed. Every cell in the body would have changed looking in this magical mirror for 40 years, except who is looking would not have changed. The awareness that is looking will remain the same. This is the same awareness that is here and in each one of us. So, all right, guys. John Saldana says, Nate, thank you for an amazing experience. There is a reason I found you. Absolutely, guys. There is a reason for all of this, and it is to awaken, because that is inevitable. Because guess what? Awakening to the new earth is the destiny of all beings. Enlightenment, awakening is the destiny, ultimate destiny of all beings, and it is inevitable. So relax. It's going to happen. So, okay, guys. And yes, Kenny Green says, ask yourself, to whom are these thoughts arising? Absolutely. We will get deeper into self-inquiry because that is a very, very powerful practice. Self-inquiry is really one of the only practices that you need, even though ultimately no practice is necessary. But in the beginning, it sure seems like there is. Yeah, guys, go back and watch this one again. I know we went through a lot of stuff, and I hope that I answered Camelia's question, to the best of my ability. But the thing is, you don't have to worry, my friend. You don't have to think about the how. You just have to awaken and make the concrete vision and hold the vision. Visioneer it. Hold the vision of health and wellness and thriving and of community and of togetherness. Hold that vision in the mind. Do not hold the vision of the World Economic Forum making you eat bugs and of not owning anything and then the Illuminati. Don't hold that vision of the society collapsing and all that. Don't hold that vision, because you are helping to bring that about. Instead, you have to take the reins of the mind. You have to take the reins of the mind and you have to say, no, we are going to command a new vision to appear. And that is going to be one of health and strength and happiness and of connectedness and of satisfaction and of an unlimited love for one another. The deep realization that we are not separate, and we are of healthy minds and bodies, and therefore a healthy community and society. We're going to hold that vision instead, and we're going to bring that vision about. Okay? So, all right, guys. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite Wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite Wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite Wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. This is literally true, my friends. Don't worry. It's inevitable. Awakening is your destiny.